Squiz Kids acknowledges the traditional owners of the lands on which we podcast, the Turrbal and Combermary people.
Squiz Kids!
It's your daily news fix. Fun, free, fresh.
Hello and welcome to Squiz Kids Today, your fresh take on what's happening in the world around you. I'm Christy Kijarina. It's Wednesday, June 19. In Squiz Kids Today, a native title victory in the sunny state, a Californian piglet pursuit, the snow white kookaburr and the facial fitness gum craze. That's what's making news, kid style.
The Lowdown.
Imagine you've lived on a piece of land for your whole life, and so did your parents, grandparents, and many generations before them. Now, what if someone came and said you didn't own that land? This happened to many Aboriginal Australians and Torres Strait Islanders who were the first peoples to live in Australia. But guess what? Something huge happened this week. On Monday, in a federal court in Brisbane, the Cubby people of southeast Queensland were finally recognised as the traditional owners of their land after a super long legal process that took 14 years. That's longer than some of you have been alive. For thousands of years, the Cubby people have lived on more than 365,000 hectares of land, which includes some of Australia's coolest tourist spots, like Noosa, the Glasshouse Mountains and Bribie Island. This week, the court said that they have the right to hunt, fish, camp and take some resources, like timber for making boomerangs and spears, from their land. But don't worry if you're not Aboriginal. If you have a home or your family has a business or you just want to visit these amazing places, this decision won't change anything for you. You can still enjoy all these amazing spots. And if you haven't already learned about him, you should definitely find out about Eddie Mabo. He was a Torres Strait Islander man who was the first person to fight for and win native title, proving that Indigenous people have been the custodians of the land we call Australia for a very, very long time.
Spin the globe.
Each day we give the world globe a spin and find a news story from wherever it stops. And today we've landed in Hong Kong, a bustling city in China where a snake caused quite a stir on a train. Snakes on a plane? Sure, but snakes on a train? That's a new one. The snake made its presence known by slithering through a packed carriage during rush hour on Monday. The train was quickly evacuated and the surprise serpent was recaptured. It turns out it was a non-venomous California king snake that is native to, you guessed it, California. Thankfully, no snakes or people were harmed. And speaking of California, the police there had their own animal adventures this week, pursuing a piglet named Pickles in a foot chase across many city blocks. There's a great video link in the episode notes. In the end, the fugitive piglet was recaptured and police decided not to press charges for evading an officer. Yes, Pickles was too ambitious for his own good. Sorry kids, I haven't set off the mum joke buzzer for ages.
Pop Culture Corner.
Do you have an older brother who's been chewing gum like it's going out of style? Well, I might have the answer to this mystery. It's called facial fitness gum. Yes, you heard that right. Social media campaigns are targeting young men with super chewy gum, claiming it will give them a more defined jawline. With names like Jawliner, Stronger Gum, and Magic Gum, they promise to tone and tighten facial muscles. But is there any truth to these claims? Well, the gum is 2 to 10 times firmer than regular gum, so it will definitely give your jaws a workout. However, there's no proof it will give users a chiseled jawline. What it will do is lighten your wallet, with one that we came across being 6 times more expensive than regular gum. A 2019 study found that there's actually very little benefit to be gained from facial exercises. It's more likely that chewing these types of gums will just give you a sore jaw or a headache. But what about those dramatic before and after photos on social media? It might be worth following Squizzy's advice to stop, think and check. Consider whether lighting, camera angles, or maybe even a bit of Photoshop magic might be at play.
Believe it or not.
Hands up if you've ever seen a kookaburr. If you're in Australia, I bet a lot of hands just flew up. And if you're in the car, I hope you didn't hit the roof. All right, now, hands up if you've ever seen a snowy white kookaburra. Fewer hands this time? That's unless maybe you're a resident of Wynnum in Brisbane. Locals there have been amazed by a rare white kookaburra that's showing up perched on backyard fences. This fluffy bird looks so unusual that many people thought at first that it was a stuffed toy or a puppet. But it's actually the real deal, and this kookaburra has a condition called albinism, which means it has lower levels of melanin. That's the pigment that gives skin, hair, and feathers their colour. Without melanin, the kookaburra's feathers are pure white, making it a rare and beautiful sight. I've popped a link to a picture in the episode notes. But there's a catch to this gorgeous white floofiness. This albino bird is more prone to sunburn and vision problems, and so has to be extra careful to avoid getting sunburnt. How do you think a kookaburra slip-slop-slaps?
Time for the quiz.
This is the part of the podcast where you get to test how well you've been listening. Question number 1. What was the name of the first person to win a native title claim in Australia? Nice work if you said Eddie Mabo. Question number 2. What was the name of the piglet that led police on a chase in California? Great listening if you knew that it was Pickles. Question number 3. Can you name the condition where the sufferer has lower levels of melanin, the pigment that gives skin, hair and feathers their colour? Humans can have it too, and it starts with an A. That's right, it's albinism.
Shout outs.
It's June 19. On this day, way back in 1963, the first woman to travel to space, Valentina Tereshkova, returned back to Earth in a Russian spacecraft called Vostok 6 after 71 hours and 48 orbits of the planet. Wow. It's also a special day for these Squiz kids celebrating a birthday today. Knox from Woongarra, Hannah from Leppington, Ella from Beecroft, Lydia from Wheelers Hill, Ethan from Northam, Juliet from Brisbane, Taylor from Rose Bay, Charlotte from Mount Ommaney, and Alessia from Perth. And belated birthday shout-outs go to Grayson and Liana from DY and Jaden from New South Wales. Classroom shout-outs today go to Class 6E with Miss Edens at Flinders Christian Community College in Carrum Downs. Class 5-6A with Mrs Watson at St John's College in Preston. Class 6C with Mr Kinder at Holy Rosary Primary School in Doubleview. Class 3 Gold with Miss Carafelli at Macaulay Catholic Primary School in Preston. And last but never least, Class 6 Dinner 1 and their teacher Mrs Malmo at Henty Public School. Don't forget, if you've got a birthday coming up and you want a shout out, or if you're after a classroom shout out, drop us a line at squizkids@thesquiz.com.au or fill out the form on our website. Well, that's all we have time for. Thanks for listening to Squiz Kids today. We'll be back again tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and have a most excellent day. Over and out.